In our last episode, we finally built the Signal Interceptor with all three factions, the Minutemen, the Brotherhood of Steel, and the Railroad. Now, we have but to step on the platform and see if this thing can actually send us to the Institute.
I'm ready when you are.
One small step for Nate, one giant leap to find answers.
Okay, hold real still. I don't want any corruption of the molecular beam.
Let's see. Relays dialed in. Beam emitters warmed up. Everything looks green.
So stand still. You gotta lock in all those molecules of yours. Hopefully we won't miss any. There's only, 60 trillion of them.
Let me start scanning for the signal. Cross your fingers. I'm inputting the code now.
All right, feeding our baby some juice. Let's see what she's got.
Wow, there's a heck of a lot of interference and ghosting. It's gonna take a minute or two to lock in. By the way, this little trip you're taking is a heck of an opportunity to find out as much as we can about the Institute and what they're up to.
Oh yeah, by the way, I figured this was a golden opportunity to find out as much as we can about the Institute and what they're up to.
I put a clever little program on this holotape that'll scan their network and download anything it finds.
Yeah, this holotape's all set with a program that will scan their network and download anything it finds.
If you place it in any terminal down there, it'll do the rest. Bring it back to me and I'll see if I can make sense of whatever it found.
Take this holotape. You need it to contact Patriot.
Oh, man, don't worry. That's all part of the plan.
Tom, do whatever you can to gain their trust. Lie. Tell them what they want to hear. Make up a cover story and sell it.
Uh-oh. Yeah, we better hurry. And don't worry about that tubing wiggling around. It's, just there for decoration.
Well, looks like we have a winner. RF wave capture complete. Ramping the emitter. 60%.
Come on, I think I got it. Establishing lock on the Institute signal.
Just get all the information you can. About synths, about the Institute's plans. Find their weaknesses. If we can disable or destroy the Institute, we may have to do it.
Okay, scanning for the Institute signal.
80%. Emitter's spiking but steady. All that's left is to throw the transmit switch.
You jack that holotape into any terminal and Patriot will make contact. He has to.
Got the RF. We got it.
Tracking RF. And got it!
Find a way to save them. Nobody else can.
Transmitting in 3, 2, 1. Stay safe, soldier.
Hold on to your butt.
Now.
With that, we complete the quest, the molecular level, and we appear in a circular room surrounded by strange humming devices. There is only one door out of this room, directly before us. In the next room, we don't find any enemies. There is a console in front of us, but a hallway to the left. Rounding that way first, we can see what's here, but it appears to be a closed-off room. There is a big pipe with a red door lying here, but we can't interact with it. So back to the main room, we see another door leading off to the east. This appears to go down a staircase. But on the other side of the console, we find a terminal. In this console is an emergency relay button. Maybe we can use this to get out of here. And activating the terminal, we can see what's here. Access terminal 001-B. We can view access logs. Recent access X324. Validation blah blah blah. X657. Validation blah 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 blah. XXXXX. Error. Signal rerouted. The previous two must have been coursers that were sent using this console. The 5X's must be us. We rerouted that signal. Now, just as we were leaving, we were given a side quest from every single faction we worked with. Each of them gave us a holotape labeled a network scanner. If we are working with the Minutemen, we can load the network scanner into this terminal and initiate a network scan. Downloading, scan complete. Our quest log updates to return the holotape to Sturges. If, however, we were working with the Brotherhood of Steel, we actually get the exact same interaction. We load the network scanner, initiate the scan, and get the same results. Only now, of course, we need to return the holotape to Proctor Ingram. But if we're working with the railroad, we find a couple more options here. First, we can read a message from Tom. The Big D demanded a tutorial be included, so here it is. Short version, plug this into any Institute terminal and copy the message. Long version, Patriot's been sending us short-coded messages for years using an evil little encryption scheme. It was a biatch and a half to reverse engineer. Patriot's got skill, but I nailed it. Put this holotape on any Institute terminal and it'll deliver a gift-wrapped message straight to Patriot. You're going into the belly of the beast, friend. Don't trust anything. Tinker Tom out. Backing out, we can copy an encrypted message. Copying message 001. Copy complete break detected. Foreign program holotape hijack. Copying urgent reply 001 from terminal. Copy complete. Backing out, we can read the urgent reply. Acknowledged. Meet at the Advanced Systems Maintenance Room. Wow, that was fast. Patriot has responded. And now, if we're working with the railroad, we can meet him. But using this holotape, we can, like with the other two factions, initiate a network scan. Copying all of this information to the holotape, we can pocket it to bring back to the railroad at a later date. Backing out of the terminal, we can try to push the emergency relay button, but it's not working. Stepping into the relay, we can't get back out. But we really don't want to right now anyway. The Minutemen just wanted us to learn as much as we possibly could, but both the Railroad and the Brotherhood of Steel wanted us to infiltrate the Institute, to work with them, to pretend like we're on good terms with them for as long as possible. So to continue, we need to sneak inside and pretend we're one of them. Our only way forward is through this double door. And stepping forward...
Hello. I wondered if you might make it here. You're quite resourceful. I am known as Father. The Institute is under my guidance. I know why you're here. I'd like to discuss things with you face to face. Please, step into the elevator.
With that, we begin the quest Institutionalized. The elevator opens up before us. They know we're here. It doesn't really look like they're hostile. We can put the gun away. Before heading down, we can loot this room. There are a couple of tables with first aid kits and small containers. There is a door against this wall, but we can't access it. That leaves the elevator our only option. Stepping into the elevator, we can take it down to meet this father.
I can only imagine what you've heard, what you think of us. I'd like to show you that you may have the wrong impression. Welcome to the Institute. This is the reality of the Institute. This place, these people, the work we do. For over 100 years, we've dedicated ourselves to humanity's survival. Decades of research, countless experiments and trials, a shared vision of how science can help shape the future. It has never been easy, and our actions are often misinterpreted by those above ground. Someday, perhaps, we can show them what we've accomplished. But for now, we must remain underground. There's too much at stake here to risk it all. As you've seen, things above are unstable. I'd like to talk to you about what we can do for everyone. But that can wait. You are here for a specific, very personal reason. You are here for your son.
At the top of the elevator, the sliding door opens. Stepping forward, we see a boy in a cell. On the other side of the glass, we find Shaun. At last.
Shaun?
Huh? Yes, I'm Shaun.
Shaun. Is that really you? Oh, goddamn them. So many years stolen. Shaun, I've been looking for you for so long. Shaun? Oh my god. It's really you.
Who are you?
Shaun, where is everyone? These bad people, they stole you from
Father.
me. Come on, Shaun. We need to go. Shaun, it's me. I'm your dad.
Father, what's going on? What's happening?
Shaun, are you okay? You're not hurt, are you? We're leaving this place. Together. Okay, Shaun?
What's going on?
Those bastards. They took you from me. Yes, it's me. Your dad. I'm here, Shaun.
What's going on? Father? Father!
What do you want me to do, Shaun? What can I do? Shaun, open the door. I'll kill them for this. All of them. Shh. It'll be okay, Shaun. I'm here now.
I don't know you. Go away. Father! Father, help me! There's someone here, help me!
Who is Father? Where is
Father?
he? Shaun, please. Calm down. I'll get you out of there. Damn it. Shaun, open the door.
Father?
Please, Shaun. I'm your father. Talk to me. Just open the door.
Father? Father, help me! He's trying to take me! Father? Father, help me!
Shaun. S923, recall code Cirrus. Fascinating, but disappointing. The child's responses were not at all what I anticipated. He's a prototype, you understand. We're only just now beginning to explore the effects of extreme emotional stimuli. Please try and keep an open mind. I recognize that you are emotional, and that your journey here has been fraught with challenges. Let's start anew. I am Father. Welcome to the Institute.
Father? That's your name? Your title?
Father is my unofficial title. It's what I've come to mean to the people of the Institute, just as you mean to your son, to Shaun.
This is insane. All of it.
The degree of trauma you're experiencing right now is understandable. Please, just try to relax. I know this is all difficult to take in.
I could kill you. Right here. Right now.
Yes. Yes, you could. And I would be powerless to stop you.
Give me Shaun. The real Shaun. Right now!
I know. I know. You've gone to such lengths to find him.
I'll make this very simple. Where is my son?
He's here, in the Institute. Closer than you think.
God. All we're missing are the teacups and the white rabbit.
Ah, levity. Excellent. A sure sign that you adapt quickly to stressful environments.
I want answers, asshole. Now.
Under the circumstances, I will forgive your vulgarity.
Just help me understand what's going on here.
I promised answers, and answers you shall have. But I need you to realize that this situation is far more complicated than you could have imagined. You have traveled very far, and suffered a great deal to find your son. Well, your tenacity and dedication have been rewarded. It's good to finally meet you. After all this time. It's me. I am Shaun. I am your son.
What? How?
How is that even possible?
I know this is a lot to take in.
Oh, come on! That's crazy!
I assure you, I am completely sane and entirely honest.
Bullshit.
Is it? After all the things you've seen and experienced in the Commonwealth? Think about it.
It's really you? After all this time?
Yes. It's true. In the vault, you had no concept of the passage of time. You were released from your pod and went searching for the son you'd lost. But then you learned that your son was no longer an infant, but a 10-year-old boy. You believed that 10 years had passed. Is it really so hard to accept that it was not 10, but 60 years? That is the reality. And here I am, raised by the Institute, and now its leader.
And I suppose it could be true. We've already come to terms with the fact that there was a hiccup of time after we saw Nora murdered by Kellogg in Vault 111. When Kellogg walked away with Shaun, we were refrozen. We stumbled out of the pod much later. At the time, it felt instantaneous, which is why we started looking for an infant boy. It was only later that we realized that we had been in that pod for at least 10 years, which is why we were looking for a 10-year-old boy in Diamond City. But if it could have been 10 years, it could have been 60. And if this boy we found here is a synth, the boy we saw in Kellogg's memories also could have been a synth, which means the man standing before us, the man called Father, could very well be Shaun.
Hell of a story. But I guess it does make sense.
I'm glad you're willing to accept the truth. It's quite encouraging.
They stole you, kidnapped you. Wasn't right.
Right, wrong, irrelevant. It was necessary. The Institute believed humanity's future depended on it.
It wasn't right, what they did. Taking you from me like that.
To you, that would certainly seem true. But to the Institute, it made all the sense in the world.
But why? Why take a child? Why take you?
Ah, now that's the question, isn't it? Why me? At that time, the year 2227, the Institute had made great strides in synth production. But it was never enough. Scientific curiosity and the goal of perfection drove them ever onward. What they wanted was the perfect machine. So they followed the best example thus far. The human being. Walking, talking, fully articulate, capable of anything.
Human synths? Really?
Human-like synths. A great distinction.
Yeah, you lost me. I don't see the point of any of this.
You don't see the connection. Let me try to explain.
I think I see where this is going.
Then perhaps you already understand why it was necessary for the Institute to acquire me.
So the weird science experiments needed specimens. That's why they took you.
In a manner of speaking. Yes. The Institute endeavored to create synthetic organics. The most logical starting point, of course, was human DNA. Plenty of that was available, of course. But it had all become corrupted. In this wasteland, radiation affected everyone. Even in their attempts to shield themselves from the world above, members of the Institute had been exposed. Another source was necessary. But then the Institute found me after discovering records from Vault 111. An infant, frozen in time, protected from the radiation-induced mutations that had crept into every other human cell in the Commonwealth. I was exactly what they needed. And so it was my DNA that became the basis of the synthetic organics used to create every human-like synth you see today. I am their father. Through science, we are family. The synths, me, and you.
And you've been down here the whole time?
I have. Yes.
60 years. So much time. Wasted.
I know.
At this point, we have two options. We could embrace the truth that this really is Shaun, or we could reject the truth and say that we don't believe him.
I don't believe you. There's no way any of this is true.
I wish there was something to say. I know this isn't what you wanted, but it's the only truth I can offer you.
Why are you doing this to me? After everything I've been through.
I don't mean any of this to hurt you. I'm trying to help you. Help us.
You're my son? Then prove it. Now.
I've already told you how I came to be here. I don't know what further proof I can offer that would convince you.
You're lying. I know it.
Why would I lie? What would I have to gain from it? I assure you, this is the truth.
It can't be true. It's just too much.
I'm so sorry. I wish that things were different. I've shown you my trust. Your weapons haven't been confiscated, and I stand unarmed before you. Please, let's just talk.
At this point in the conversation, we can at least agree to talk with him, or we can stubbornly insist that this isn't our reality, and we want out.
We have nothing to talk about. I want out of this place. Now.
I had certainly hoped we could work together. But every man must make his own decisions.
In which case, we start a dialogue tree where we get banished from the Institute. Alternatively, if we had admitted that this really is Shaun, or if we had agreed to continue to talk with him, the conversation continues.
Shaun. It's really you.
It really is.
If this is true, where do we start? All right. Let's talk then.
I know you must have questions. Please. Anything I can do to help you understand.
Kellogg. He worked for you?
Kellogg. He was an Institute asset long before I arrived here. It wasn't until I became director that I learned of all the things he'd done. What kind of man he was.
You knew the man was a psychopath, but you used him anyway?
I don't expect you to understand or agree with the decision.
But if we pass the charisma check...
Would you have preferred that I turned him loose on the Commonwealth? At least keeping him on a short leash kept the collateral damage to a minimum.
Kellogg was... Let's just say he was more complex than you might think.
After what he's done, I'm surprised to hear you say that.
He was a murderer. He killed your mother.
Believe me, I am well aware of the atrocities Kellogg committed. I suspect there are many more we'll never know of.
After what I've seen, I pity the man. He was as much a victim as anything.
After what he did to you, I'm shocked you would be so generous. But yes, I understand you've experienced things. Perhaps you ended up knowing him better. I, for one, will never truly forgive him. The Institute took advantage of Kellogg's vicious nature. I will freely admit that. Institute technology prolonged his life, and his usefulness far beyond any normal human lifespan. He never failed the Institute, but his cruelty became more apparent with every completed objective. I won't lie. It's no coincidence your path crossed his. It seemed a fitting way to allow us, to have some amount of revenge. What else can I say to ease your mind?
And at last, all of the questions we had about Kellogg are answered. The pieces have finally come together. We learned from Kellogg's memories that he was born in 2179, 108 years ago, 10 years before the new California Republic became a complete nation.
All 5 states have now signed on, which means that as of this moment, we are all citizens of the new California Republic.
We just learned from Father here that Shaun was taken from the vault in 2227.
At that time, the year 2227, the Institute had made great strides in synth production.
Exactly 60 years ago. That would have made Kellogg 48 years old when he went into Vault 111 killed Nora and stole our boy. The reason he looked exactly the same when we met him at Fort Hagen compared to how he looked when we saw him in Vault 111 is because the Institute had augmented him to dramatically increase his lifespan, and we saw these augmentations on his corpse after we killed him.
All this tech. You were barely human.
It was through using these augmentations that we were able to explore his memories. Conrad Kellogg was a cyborg, 108 years old, kept alive and kept strong by the Institute.
Your mother. She never got to see you grow up?
Yes. What happened to her was... I've gone over the records of the incident, of course. It seems her death was an unfortunate bit of collateral damage.
Collateral damage? Is that all she was to you?
What would you have me say? The world is a dangerous place? Although I think maybe it always was. It's just a bit more honest about it now.
But if we pass the charisma check...
I forget that it's been such a short time for you. I don't have any direct memories. And I've had my entire life to cope with the loss. Has it always been easy? Of course not. But I've done my best to move on and live my life.
Collateral damage? She was murdered.
Killed? Yes. Murdered? I'm not so sure about that. Still, I do regret never having known her.
You don't remember. You didn't see it the way I did. It was brutal.
Yes, I'm sure it was. Sadly, the world has become a brutal, unforgiving place.
Shaun, she loved you. So much.
I have no doubt. I'm afraid I have very little experience with those emotions, having lived my life within the Institute. For many years, I never questioned who my parents were. I accepted my situation, and that was that. With old age comes regret. And asking what if more often. But what matters now is that you and I have a chance to begin again. What else can I say to ease your mind?
So you're in charge of the Institute?
I am the acting director, yes. I spent decades working to reach this point. It's a responsibility I take very seriously. The Institute. It's important. It really is humanity's best hope for the future, no matter what those above ground might think of us.
But, director? Why you?
I was the most qualified for the position. Obviously. I've lived my life within these walls, dedicated to science like every other member of the Institute. My hard work has paid off.
They need your help, Shaun. It's rough up there, to say the least.
Oh, we've tried that. Surprised? The Institute once tried to help create a stabilized Commonwealth government. It ended in bickering, infighting. It was a disaster. No. We look after our own now.
They're scared of you, Shaun. Scared of the Institute.
People are always frightened by what they don't understand.
It doesn't matter what they think. What matters is what you do.
I'm glad we see it the same way. Ultimately, the Commonwealth has nothing to fear from us. Whatever you've seen or heard, I know I can convince you of that. Just give me time. What else can I say to ease your mind?
I think I've heard enough for now.
Very well. The Institute is on the verge of some important breakthroughs. Your presence would be appreciated as we approach them. I've been a part of something amazing here. I've helped to build a life for myself and the people of the Institute. And now, after all these years, you have an opportunity to help with that. Doesn't that intrigue you? Isn't that what you want?
You want me to stay here? In the Institute?
Yes, that is what I propose. Is it so hard to imagine?
Maybe. I don't know. This is so much to take in.
I know. And I am sorry. You have been through so much in such a short time.
At this point, we can either agree to stay in the Institute with Shaun or reject him and say no.
I won't be a part of this. I can't.
Why? Because of the reputation of the Institute. The Institute can provide a better life than anything above ground. You've been in the Commonwealth. You've seen what it's like. I assure you that you are better off with us.
How can you say that? How can you be so dismissive of all those people? Everything they've done?
Because it is the simple truth. And I believe you know it too.
I don't know what to do.
I realize that. It's why I'm trying to help you. I hope that you can see that rationally. The Institute is the only thing left in the world that is worth being part of.
Your institute has done some horrible things.
Yes, well, the world is not what it used to be. What about the people you've aided in order to get here? What atrocities have they committed? The Brotherhood of Steel. They believe they're the only ones fit to control technology and destroy anyone who opposes them. And you would side with them. None have any true claim to nobility in this world. Those days are gone. But we are not the monsters we have been cast as.
Things are pretty terrible up there.
I've seen it myself. I know. That is why we are so committed to creating a better life for ourselves here. And it's a life that you can now be part of. I simply ask that you give the Institute, me, a chance. A chance to show you what I've been telling you. We really do have humanity's best interest at heart. Will you take that chance?
Are you sure you want this?
Yes, I am. It would benefit us both to work together.
And even if we said no earlier, we can again have one final opportunity to say yes. Or we can again say no.
I'm sorry. I can't do that.
I'm sorry to hear that. I had certainly hoped we could work together. But every man must make his own decisions. If you choose to leave, I cannot force you to stay. Understand, though, that I cannot allow you to remain within the Institute. You may have safe passage back to the relay, where you will be sent back to the surface. But from that point, you must be considered hostile. I am sorry. I must think first of the safety of the Institute. And in the cruel world that has developed, those who are not with us are against us. The elevator will return you to the relay.
And with that, Shaun asks us to leave. But even after all of that, we can talk with him again.
Shaun, can we talk about this?
Have you reconsidered your decision?
Shaun, isn't there some other option? Some other way we can work things out?
You've seen the Commonwealth. You must have some idea of how this world works. You're either with us or you're not. I'm afraid it's that simple.
We could say that we've changed our mind.
I've changed my mind. I'll work with you.
Well, that's good to hear. All right, then.
Which puts us back into the joining the Institute dialogue tree. Or we can stand our ground and say no.
I'm sorry. I'm not interested.
That's a shame. I had hoped for so much more. You may see yourself out.
Forget it. Never mind.
I see. Well, as I've said, you may see yourself out.
The child synth, Shaun over here, remains in a deactivated state. At this point, we have two options. We could turn around and take the elevator back, retracing our steps towards the relay. We can't activate the relay until we complete our side quests to load the network scanner into the terminal. Only then, oddly enough, do the doors open, and we are able to step into the relay, whereupon we appear in the ruins of CIT. We complete the quest institutionalized, but in so doing, we've disappointed the Railroad and the Brotherhood of Steel. Remember, they wanted us to infiltrate the Institute, and we just failed that. And so we start the side quest burning cover for the railroad, form ranks for the Minutemen, and if working with the Brotherhood, we have to head back to Elder Maxon to see if they've got a contingency plan. Or we could have killed Shaun. In this case, we have to return to the elevator, but this time we are met by synths.
Engaging.
We have to fight our way all the way back to the relay room.
Hello.
And then, just like last time, use the network scanner to open the door and teleport out. Alternatively, we could join the Institute, and we bypassed a number of dialogue choices to do so. We could have agreed, or expressed doubt after we told him no the first time.
I just don't know.
Just give it time. Give the Institute a chance.
All right.
Thank you.
Or we could have agreed when he first proposed that we stay in the Institute.
Yes, that's what I want.
I know. I know you've been through so much. I'm pleased to see it has not impaired your judgment. Forgive me. I'd assume that after everything I'm sure you've seen above ground, you would be more than a bit biased against us. There is much to be done. You'll need time to acclimate yourself, a chance to become acquainted with our procedures.
Is all that really necessary? What's there to learn?
For now, it is enough that you understand that the Institute really is devoted to the betterment of humanity.
I don't know about all that.
Don't worry. You'll see.
I'm not here to take orders.
I'm afraid things here are different from the lawless wastes above. A society cannot be maintained without order. While you may be my father, I am father to the Institute. It follows my lead. And thus, for now, you must as well. Will you trust me?
Follow your lead? Why do you get to call the shots?
Because my entire life has taken place within these walls. I have studied. I have trained. I have devoted my life to the Institute. I have proven time and time again that the success of the Institute is my primary goal. And I have sacrificed a great deal along the way. I assure you, I gain nothing by lying to you. Will you trust me?
I just don't know.
I'm afraid there can be no more time for indecision. Please, let me show you what we can accomplish together.
And at this point, we have another opportunity to become banished from the Institute. We could say no.
I can't afford to trust anyone.
I see. I am disappointed.
In which case, we go down the banishment dialogue tree. Or we could say yes.
All right. I'll go along with it.
Excellent.
I'll do whatever it takes. It's worth it.
I am glad to hear that. The Institute is now your home, as much as it is mine. Please take some time, get to know it. Meet the people you'll be working with. You'll want to introduce yourself to the division heads. Dr. Fillmore in Facilities, Dr. Ao in SRB, Dr. Holdren in Bioscience, and finally Dr. Lee in Advanced Systems. They've all been notified of your arrival, of course. Meet them, and then we'll discuss what comes next.
Seeing the child synth standing here raises so many questions, and we can talk to Father about them.
Shaun, about this synth.
You mean the child? It's a fascinating project, really. There are issues to be solved, of course, but we've made remarkable progress.
Why build it to look like you?
We'd advanced the technology behind synths to a point where this struck me as an interesting variation. A new angle, if you will. Modeling it after myself seemed only natural, what with the Institute's records on my genetics and physiology.
It seems like a strange choice. on more than one level.
I can understand how it might seem that way. It is something new. New discoveries are always welcome.
You made a child synth that looks like you. It's an abomination.
It's a synth, not a human being. A simulacrum. Try to be more open-minded.
He's definitely impressive.
Yes, it's pushed our technology to the limit. We've gained some valuable insights in terms of both hardware and software. I'll make sure it's brought back online in the near future. You'll have an opportunity to interact with him further. But I'll admit I'm curious. As a parent looking for a child, looking for the younger version of me, what do you think? Do you think you could love him? Like you would a real boy?
Seriously? You really believe a human could love a synth?
That's a difficult question. I suppose it depends on how closely we've managed to mimic human behavior and emotions. Yours is a unique position. You may be the only one that's truly able to answer these questions right now.
This is all... it's just too much. I just don't know anymore.
I understand. You've been through quite a lot.
It's not you. It's not even human. I could never love that.
No, perhaps not. But in many ways, he matches what you've been searching for all this time.
I don't need a synth. I found the real Shaun.
Yes, but not the Shaun you were looking for. In some ways, the synth is far closer to what you expected. I wouldn't claim to know everything you're feeling, but if in some small way the boy's presence can help, I hope you'll keep an open mind.
And with that, we have full reign of the Institute. We can explore every inch of this place, talk with all of the scientists here, get all of our questions answered, which will undoubtedly raise even more. But after everything Nate has gone through, we just got sucker punched with possibly the worst news possible. Yes, Shaun is still alive, but our baby is gone. Our child is gone. Our ability to raise Shaun, to teach him our values, to establish a relationship with him as a child is gone. All that's left is this 60-year-old man, a man who has lived the majority of his life, a man who is beholden to the Institute. He wants to work with us, but now we have to make a choice. We have met 4 factions after stumbling out of Vault 111, and even though this is not the point of no return, we could work with many of these factions simultaneously before we choose one to complete the game with. I think now is the best opportunity to choose one and work with them to the end. Of course, we'll go back and work with all of these factions to see how the story changes each time. But in our next episode, we'll begin following the path of the Institute, the Minutemen, the Railroad, or the Brotherhood of Steel. This completes Act 2 of Fallout 4. It's going to take a long time for me to gather all of the footage necessary to continue with the story of one of these factions. But never fear, I'll be back soon with the next episode in the full story of Fallout 4. If you don't want to miss that episode, be sure to subscribe and click that bell notification button. If you have, but you still think that you're missing out on YouTube notifications, consider following me on Twitter at Oxhorn. I update Twitter manually with every new piece of content that I publish. I have a brand new shop. I moved from my old shop to a new shop, which is much more responsive, the website is faster, and I've got new designs that you haven't seen before on my brand new shop. I encourage you to check it out and see if anything piques your interest. My designs come on a wide range of products and in a wide range of sizes and colors. You can find a link to my shop in the description below, or you can click here. If you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming a patron on Patreon or a member here on YouTube. YouTube members get access to little badges that appear next to their names in the comment sections of my videos, and access to ox emojis that they can use in my video comments and in the live chats of my live streams. But more than anything, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you as soon as I can with the next episode in the full story of Fallout 4.
Almost done. Just need to tighten up this
It's
primary
an
drive
honor
servo.
to have you here.
That's the
sir.
third primary drive breakdown this month. As far as I'm concerned, the phase-out on these older models can't come soon enough.